All right, tennis fans, we have another special interview with you today. We have Carlos Silva from the World Team Tennis joining us today on the show to talk a little bit about WTT. How are you today,
Doing
Carlos?
great, Steven. How are you?
I'm also doing well. Doing as good as we can without tennis at the moment, but we're just trying to get through this together, and I guess that's what you guys are doing over at WTT as well. Hey.
Look. Every day we're doing like everyone else. We're trying to figure out how we can play our 2020 season. We're on calls all day, every day. I live outside of Washington D.C. here, and so we're tracking, what's going on, not only in this area but across the nation. I don't know for your fans if they know, but we've got teams in nine cities around the U.S. and cities like New York and Philly and Chicago and Las Vegas and a couple in California, a couple teams in Florida, Springfield, Missouri. So really, our season is spread across the United States. So it's not easy to understand sort of what the right approach moving forward is, but we're doing our work every day to try and figure it out so that we can bring tennis back.
Right, yeah, that's what tennis fans around the world are wanting, is just to have tennis back in some form. So for our fans here at the Slice, some of them might not know what World Team Tennis is. So if you could just give us like the short history of World Team Tennis and kind of what the format is like now when there's no pandemic going on, and what they can expect if they tune in.
Yeah, sure. It's one of the longest running sports leagues ever. It's been around for over 40 years. In fact, this will be our 46th season. It was co-founded a long time ago by Billie Jean King, and she remains, along with Alana Kloss, the owners of the Philadelphia Freedoms. That you've probably heard a song by Elton John called "Philadelphia Freedom" that they use as their song. So coincidence. Billie Jean and Elton are friends, have been for a long time. We've got teams in 9 cities, as I mentioned, from New York to Philly to Washington to Orlando, and then if you go west, Springfield, Missouri, and Chicago, and you keep going west, Las Vegas, Orange County, and San Diego. Those 9 teams play during their season. Our season is slated this year to start July 12th, which would have been the Sunday of Wimbledon. And those teams play each other in a World Team Tennis format, and that format is 5 sets of tennis. So, Stephen, if you were the New York team and I was the Washington team, we would line our match, and we would have men's singles, women's singles, men's doubles, women's doubles, and mixed doubles. Each of those sets are a 5-game pro set with no ad scoring. They play a tiebreaker. They actually play an old school tiebreaker, a 9-point tiebreaker at 4-4 in the set to win the set, to potentially win the set 5-4. Once all of those sets are played, as each of them progress from set 1 to 2 to 3 to 4, the games are accumulated with cumulative scoring. So as you move through the match, as you get to the end of the match, New York, which is your team, and Washington, which would be my team, you might beat us 21-18, for instance, because you would accumulate the 5 games potentially that you could earn for each of those sets. And so, and as it turns out, in the 5th set, the winning team also has to win the set and win that last game. If the losing team keeps winning games, wins the set, they can keep playing into overtime to try and catch up and tie the score. And if they do, then they play a super tiebreaker for the whole match, which is sort of our overtime, if you will. And then at the end of that match, you get like any regular season matchup, you get a win and a loss. You play 14 matches during your regular season, 7 home, 7 away. And then the top 4 teams of the 9 teams advance to a playoff, and they get seeded just like in a tennis tournament, 1, 2, 3, and 4. 1 plays 4 in the first semifinals, 2 plays 3 in the other semifinals, and then they advance to the finals. In last year's 2019 season, the New York Empire lost in the finals to the Springfield Lasers, and the Springfield Lasers were the 2019 WTT world champion, and hoisted the King Trophy up there in Las Vegas, which is where it happened.
Right. Yeah. No, it seems super exciting, and I have tuned in a bit, and I've seen different pro players on the tours talk about their teams, on the World Team Tennis. So, what are some of the notable players that you guys had play for you last year, or who are currently, signed on?
So, last year was a great year. This year is as well. The Bryant brothers are playing this year in Las Vegas for the full season, and Sam Querrey's out there, and we've got Stevie Johnson. Grigor Dimitrov's going to be in Orange County. We've got Sloane Stevens up in Chicago. We got Danielle Collins down in Orlando. Marty Fish is going to play in New York. Luke Jensen's our coach in New York, who's just a great guy. And we've got a lot of great coaches as well. The list just kind of goes on and on. I mean, Venus Williams played last year. John Isner played last year. Azarenka played last year. Madison Keys. I mean, it's really all the top players in the world come and try to help their team win a World Team Tennis Championship.
Right. That's amazing. Like, those are, like, yeah, as you obviously know, top names on the tours. So how does that work with them? Like, do you guys schedule the matches, I guess, between tournaments so that they could fly in from wherever they are in the world at the time?
Oh yeah, and again, this year's a funny year, to say the least. But yeah, we're generally slated between Wimbledon and the beginning of the U.S. Open series.
Right.
And then sometimes there are some tournaments that overlap with us that players may choose to play or not play depending on their schedule.
Right.
But in general, we have a 3-week season, 2 weeks for the regular season, or a little more than 2 weeks for the regular season, and then the playoffs. And then they leave the playoffs and sort of go right into the U.S. Open series, here in DC, and then Cincinnati, Montreal, Toronto, the whole swing.
Right.
Excuse me. We play on U.S. Open style court with U.S. Open balls from Wilson. So it also becomes a great way for them to get their game coming from Europe and coming from Wimbledon, then coming back to hard courts and get ready. And they get into play singles, doubles, mixed. There's a lot of good reps that they get in, and they can sort of get in there, start to get in their U.S. Open shape.
Right. No, that makes total sense, and it seems like it would be a great warm up for the U.S. Open series. And obviously, you've had a lot of buy-in from players, so it's clearly awesome. So, what do you think is the main thing that it's obviously a team aspect, which has got to be awesome. I've never been to one myself, as it seems to me like it only happens in the States. Is that right now?
Yeah, right now we just have 9 teams in the States. We've looked at a number of different cities in Canada. We've looked at a few cities in Mexico, and then I think, as we think about some expansion, possibly even expanding into Europe with like a Europe group that would play their own regular season and then come to the States for the finals, possibly in Vegas.
Right.
And so I think all of that's in process. I mean, 2020's. We're all trying to figure 2020 out together.
Yeah.
And so, a lot of those expansion plans obviously will be pushed to 2021. But look, the players love the teams. They love the team aspect. I mean, when you see, Venus or Kyrgios or any of them like high-fiving each other, running out on the court, having a great time, you realize that team tennis really is important. And it's also so great that we've got, men and women on every team, and they're together trying to compete to win a match and ultimately win the championship. There's been a lot of talk about, tours coming together and ways to do that. And I think we've always shown that having the men and women together, the fans love it. They love it. They love playing mixed. They love cheering them on when they're playing singles and doubles. It's a great environment. It's a lot of fun, super competitive. And I think it's started to become, even more, even though it's been around for a long time, even more over these last couple of years, become part of everyone's calendar and what they want to put on their calendar when when each of the players lay their calendar out for the year.
Right. Yeah, no, it's the team aspect. I think we've seen some other events that really encapsulate that team aspect. And I think fans tend to love it, and I think the players almost love it more too, because it's, tennis is such, in general on the tours, it's such an individual sport, and that's tough for a lot of players, especially those guys or girls who aren't at the very top, right, where it's a huge struggle and it can be lonely. So that seems awesome. For fans, it must provide as well, like a different, whole nother atmosphere. It's if I'm not mistaken, it's like a match that happens at one time at a night. So you go out kind of like you would to any other sporting event, and you just see some really good tennis in like a set amount of time.
Yeah, I mean, generally a match, the five sets, it's no ad scoring.
Right.
They generally takes about 2.5 hours. So in 2.5 hours, you're getting to see men's, women's, singles, doubles, mixed, and you're driving to a conclusion and a match winner at the end of the night for the regular season. There's music in between every point. There's entertainment. We have a shot clock. We use Hawkeye for all the line calling. It's all automated. So I think a lot of those innovations have all come out of World Team Tennis over the years, and I think you see more and more of it now, even on the main tour. No one yet has done music like we do in between every point. And I have to tell you, it just creates this, what I like to say, I mean, it creates like an NBA style atmosphere.
Cool.
That I think the players really respond to. I mean, you see them even sometimes before they're going to serve. If the song that is on, it sort of gets them jacked up, and it really helps, and it creates this level of energy that I think is super unique.
Yeah, no, that is totally unique, and like I would love, just even hearing more from you. I've seen World Team Tennis before, and it's looked super intriguing. And so we travel to some ATP tournaments here with the Slice, but I would love to get down to World Team Tennis in the future and cover it. So fans in the States or wherever you are in the world watching this, where can people kind of follow World Team Tennis? Where can they watch it? And yeah, what's the best way to connect?
Here in the States, all of our matches are on CBS and CBS Sports. And then we also have a partnership with ESPN Plus. And so, across those 60 some matches that constitute the entire season and playoffs, every match is broadcast, every match is live. And if you can't watch it if it's on CBS, one night it might be on ESPN Plus. The other night, if you want to watch right now, I mean, I know we're all watching a lot of content. If you wanted to watch the All-Star match that we just had in March before all of this, happened, it's available on Facebook right now. You can go to our World Team Tennis page on Facebook and watch the entire match. The Bryant brothers were there, Sam Querrey, Ryan Harrison, Taylor Townsend, Madison Keys, Monica Puig, Marty Fish, and James Blake and Maria Sharapova all coached. It was super great. You can watch that on Facebook right now. And then if you just want to look at some archives from the 2019 season, you can go to WTT.com. They're all available. Follow us on Twitter, follow us on Instagram. We'd love for you to get our updates. We're also doing a lot of content right now with all the players. Ryan Harrison has a daily show, and Luke Jensen have a daily show interviewing a lot of the players. I think the Bryant brothers were on this week. I think Andy Roddick was on this week. So we're trying to, like all of us, we're trying to keep everyone entertained. But certainly if you wanted to watch the 2019 season, you can go to WTT.com and go to the videos area, and all those matches are available.
Right. Yeah. No, I saw a couple of the interviews you just mentioned in preparing for this. So yeah, folks, like it's World Team Tennis as a whole. It's kind of like almost seems ahead of the game. Like it seems like, the ATP and WTA have talked about how they can make it more viewer friendly. And I can't think of a better way than the way you guys are doing it at WTT. So yeah, hopefully stay tuned in the future. Hopefully you guys can do it this year. That's my, my hope is that obviously this can all end as soon as it possibly can, and we can go back to doing things safely and awesomely. And, but I'm sure in the future, it's going to be one of the places that I want to get to. Is that World Team Tennis. So anyways, thanks, Carlos.
We'd love for you to come down. Any of the fans too, up in Canada that follow you. Hopefully we'll expand there soon, but yeah, keep your eyes peeled. Keep tracking us on Twitter and on Instagram. We're coming out with some updates. We're working hard to try and figure out this 2020 season for the fans and for the players, because we know the players want to play as well. Certainly we got to be safe. I mean, you're at home, I'm at home. We're trying to make it all work, but hopefully with a little bit of hard work, we'll be able to figure it out and play in July.
Yeah, for sure. Well, God bless you and you guys' efforts, like trying to figure it all out. It's crazy, and we're all starving for more tennis. So hopefully we see this year, and yeah, we're gonna be tuning in to World Team Tennis in the future.
Great, Stephen. Nice to see you. Talk soon.
Okay, yeah, nice to talk to you, Carlos. Thanks so much.